Well, hello, and on behalf of Sarah Cannon Institute at Health One, I welcome you to today's webinar, Tackling and Conquering Your Health Goals. My name is Melissa James, and I'm a physician assistant with Sarah Cannon Institute at Health One Survivorship Program and the Director of Survivorship at Colorado Gynecologic Oncology Specialist here on the Skyridge Medical Center campus. And it's my pleasure to present today on this important topic. I will be joined later by other oncology team members for a question and answer session occurring at the end of the presentation. And as a reminder, the information presented today is for education and support only and is not meant to provide individual medical advice. So specific questions about your treatment should be directed to your own oncology team. There's so many great quotes out there. Let's go ahead and start our session today with a quote. Very important. This one step, choosing a goal and sticking to it, changes everything. Scott Reed. So specifically, we're talking about health goals today. Health goals, the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or a desired result. What else is a health goal? An idea of the future or a desired result that a person or a group of people envision, plan, and commit to achieve. And this can be any examples we can throw out there, right? So whether it's quitting smoking, losing weight, maybe you're in part of your cancer journey where you're trying to gain weight back, exercising regularly, maybe you just want to eat better, drink more water, practice mindfulness regularly, get better sleep, really any goal that you have that helps your health. That's kind of what we're focusing on today. So there are many ways that people achieve goals, and it's kind of an individual plan journey, right? Some things work better for other people, but if we narrow it down to some principles and some guidelines that are proven to work and help patients on their journey, here's a really good list. And we're going to spend some time today walking through these. Some of these are common sense. They make, you've done them before, they work. Some of them maybe you should do and do a great job at, or things maybe you haven't considered yet. But let's talk through these. And my hope and my prayer as we go through this information that there's one or two or even three ideas that, oh yeah, a light bulb goes off. That's something I need to do, or oh yeah, that's something I need to try, or oh yep, that's where I failed before. So let's jump in and tackle this list together today. Oh, I went backwards. Can we go back one? So the list that we're looking at is defining your goals, plan, get support, just right here. Get support, get accountability, find your why, find your mantra, form a habit, celebrate. Let's start with define. What exactly do you want to achieve? Okay, you have it in your mind, but what exactly is it? We talk about defining our goal. One way to do that is having a SMART goal, the acronym SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Okay, and let's talk through that together. This will help you kind of narrow down and be specific about what goal you have in mind. There's the word specific, S. Clear, detailed, quantify if possible. Okay, here's an example of that. I will exercise 5 days a week for 30 minutes. Okay, that's very specific. M stands for measurable. It's very important that your goal includes something that's measurable. That's where we see people have more success than just putting something out there. It has to be measurable, okay? Has to be related to a result, right? It's not really going to do it. So here's an example of something that's measurable. I want to gain back the 10 pounds I lost during chemo, okay? We can measure that, right? On a scale. A stands for attainable. Let's be realistic about where you are right now. Are you in treatment? Are you experiencing fatigue, side effects, and not really able to do things like you want? Or maybe are you further down the road and you can conquer more mentally and physically? Okay, so we want it to be attainable. Here's an example. I will practice deep breathing for 5 minutes every day. Say you're to reduce anxiety, increase, your well-being, your mental well-being. Here's something that's very attainable. You can do 5 minutes. It doesn't take a lot of activity, a lot of physical activity. So Make sure it's attainable, something you can do where you are right now. Okay, relevant. This is important too. R is for relevant. Is it important to your life right now? Okay, does it seem worthwhile? And I'm going to use an example that may throw you off a little bit. An example could be, I'm going to visit a new country this year. And you may think, whoa, that's not relevant to my life at all. But I just want you to think outside the box, and maybe outside of even the health goal boxes for a second. Maybe you've had on your radar a goal that you want to learn a new language, okay? You want to master a new language, become fluent. You really love the culture, the people, and that's your goal. Well, that may not be relevant to where you are right now. So something else you could consider is, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to go visit that country this year, visit a new country. I've been wanting to travel more anyway. It's been on my bucket list. I'm going to go immerse myself in a new culture and hear the language for a while. So just another example to help you think outside of the box about how you can make things relevant for your situation. And finally, T stands for time bound. We want to have kind of a time constraint or a time goal in there that really helps direct us. An example I've put on here is I'm going to quit smoking by my daughter's birthday, okay? You know when her birthday is coming. You can circle it on the calendar. We have an end set goal in mind. Okay, so as you're thinking about the goal that you want to do, this is a great exercise to work through. Make sure it's a SMART goal and you've considered all these aspects of the goal. Okay? All right. As you continue to define your goal, I want you to put it into a statement. Okay, you can use one of the examples we used before. I want to exercise for 30 minutes most days of the week. Okay, it has to be a concise statement. Write it down. This is important. It may seem silly, it may seem frivolous, but taking the time to write it on a piece of paper, put it in your journal, type it in your computer, but physically writing it down. Make it visible. Tape it up on your refrigerator, up on your mirror, wherever you need to do to make that visible so it's seen and seen regularly and often. Visual cues, visual reminders are very important. And finally, share your intention. And this is maybe where I lose some of you. It may be a little scary to put it out there, right? You're afraid of failing, or you're afraid that people might think you're silly, or that you won't be able to achieve it. But it's really important that once you share it, it's out of your mind, it's out of your mouth, it's out there. It really gains more power and increases your chances of succeeding. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Plan. You have to have a plan with your goals. If you don't have a plan, you're not going to be as successful. Here's another great quote. A goal properly set is halfway reached. And I couldn't agree more. If you have a plan in place, you're already on your way to success. Okay, so let's talking about planning a goal a little bit more. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, you're going to hear it a lot today. Be specific, okay? If you want to drink more water, maybe that's your goal, drink more water. Be specific. Put 3 waters out on the counter. I'm going to drink those 3 water bottles today. Okay, be very specific. Use quantitative measurements. This is important. Just having lofty goals out there aren't as effective as being able to measure, okay, what you want to do. That could be minutes, like minutes exercise, distances, miles walked, pounds that you lost, pounds dropped, number of cigarettes that you're smoking, measurements of your waist, anything that's quantitative. And I will say, the research shows us that if we use, going back to using quantitative measurements, if we use measurement tools, I'm talking like pedometers, accelerometers, smartphone-based apps on your phone, science has shown us that you're much more successful if you use those tools. Okay, let me just read this. So according to a systematic review of randomized trials and observational studies, pedometers, those are things that count our steps, count how much we walk, okay, are associated with significant decreases in BMI, body mass index, and blood pressure compared to those that aren't using them. In another systematic review, it was limited to randomized trials involving adults without chronic illnesses. The use of smartphone exercise apps or other activity trackers was associated with an average increase in daily physical activity, equating to 1,850 more steps. So people using those apps or those activity trackers automatically take more steps, kind of even without planning to or trying. It's just because we're measuring it and we're using tools to help us. So just using those automatically increases what you're achieving, okay? All right, consider barriers as you're planning. Like, I know I'm gonna struggle here, I know this is gonna be an issue, and incorporate in your plan ways you're gonna overcome those barriers. And finally, make it enjoyable, make it fun, right? Like, if it's gonna be a dread, if you're gonna have to slug through it, if you don't like it, you're probably not gonna do it and you're probably not gonna stick with it. Another author we're gonna talk about later in the presentation today, James Clear, he says, when you fall in love with the process rather than the product, you don't have to wait to give yourself permission to be happy. You can be satisfied anytime your system is running, okay? So pick a goal, but pick a way you're gonna achieve the goal that you're actually gonna enjoy. Okay, continuing on with the plan, we're still talking about planning this goal. This is very important. It takes a little more time up front, but very important. Make sure you are monitoring your progress along the way. And this takes a little more time and effort, but this is where we've seen patients are successful. They're monitoring as they go. How am I doing? Using those metrics, using those things we said, that the quantities that you can measure. Plan, adjust your plan as necessary. Things are gonna change. Your capabilities, life circumstances, etc. So have a plan B. As you're planning in the beginning, adjust as you go along and have a plan B. Okay, the weather changes. I was gonna go walk outside today, but now it's snowing, right? So what's your plan B? Think about this as you're planning. Don't give up too easily just because you're off your plan, okay? And this is important. Expect delays. You're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna fail sometimes. You're gonna have slow progress. It's just part of the journey of accomplishing a goal. So expect those, don't let those get you down. They're gonna happen, and just regroup and move on, okay? This is all part of the planning process of your goal. I'm gonna use an example, and if you haven't picked up on it now, you're gonna hear some common examples like losing weight, exercising more, eating better, stopping smoking. I'm gonna use those a lot as examples just because they're very common with our patients. Those are common goals we see. So I'm gonna use examples a lot for that. But remember, these overriding principles can apply to any health goal you have. But here's an example if you're planning wanting to exercise more, okay? There's a tool called FIT Planning, another acronym, F-I-T-T. The F stands for frequency. Okay, so you want to include the number of days per week that you want to exercise. Ideally, that's going to be 3 or more. Okay, I is intensity, how much effort you're giving. Moderate or greater, okay, is the best. And remember, this needs to be gradually achieved. I know some of you are like, Melissa, I'm not even thinking about exercising right now, okay? And I get that, and maybe that's not your goal, and that's fine. You have another health goal you're working on. But regardless of where you are, these need to be achieved gradually, okay? T is for time. You need to spell out how much time you're gonna be doing this. The number of minutes per session, get very specifically. Now, ideally, that's 30 minutes or longer, okay? And then T, type. You want to actually write out in your plan the type of activity you're going to do. Aerobic activity, resistance, weight resistance training activity, walking, jogging, cycling, lifting weights. You need to name it. So here's just another example. If yours is exercising more, of ways you can be very specific and plan out a goal, okay? All right, and remember, write it down, put it on a calendar, put it somewhere visible. Very, very important if you want to be successful. Now, I wanted to throw out some examples here. Jen Kittleson, one of our physical therapists at Presbyterian St. Luke's, PSL, used these in a presentation that I thought were great. So I want to share them with you. And you can find this stuff all over the web for free online. But here's an example, if we're sticking with the exercise example. You don't even have to create one. You can go online and find one auto-populated for you. Here you say the days of the week, how often they're going to be doing it, the time of each, what type they're going to be doing. It's spelled out clearly for you. So if you need help with that, you can use this tool or something similar. You may also download for free some generic templates where you go in and fill out your own exercise, okay? What you want to do on what day for how long. Just an easy template to go in there and fill it in. Takes a second up front, but you'll be much more successful if you take the time to do this and just kind of wing it throughout the week. If you're more of like an Excel spreadsheet type of person, those templates are out there for you as well, and here's an example. But it's very important you plan and you measure and you monitor along the way, and these are tools that can help you do that. All right, let's move on to the next one. Get support, okay? And that may seem easy enough, but really, this is huge. We know that people that get support achieve more and have less chance of burning out. So let's talk a little bit more about what that support looks like. It may not be all that you're thinking. Here's all the different areas I'd encourage you to look for and engage support in tackling your healthcare goals. Of course, first and foremost is expert help, going to an expert in the field in which you're trying to achieve. That may be a psychologist, a therapist, physical trainer, dietitians, nutritionists, etc. But experts in the field can help you plan, help you assess where you are, and help you monitor along the way. Very, very valuable. Your healthcare team, that's super important, especially, I'll just use an example of quitting smoking, okay? Clinician involvement increases the likelihood that a patient will successfully quit smoking. It's been studied, it's been proven. So get your healthcare team involved, whether it's little, where you just mention them, hey, I'm working on this healthcare goal, I just want you guys to know, or whether you're working side by side with them on weight loss programs, medications, measurements, smoking cessation, etc. But engage your healthcare team. That's a very important area of support, and they can help you monitor your progress and your safety along the way. All right, family, very easy, natural, built-in area of support, right? They love you. They want what's best for you. Friends, get them involved. Tell them your goal, all right? Get them involved in this. They can meet you. They can help you with it sometimes or just give you a pat on the back, but very important. So it can be your social circles, recreational circles, literal support groups. Some of you are attending some cancer support groups or caregiver support groups. That can be an excellent place to get support achieving your goals. Some of you rely on your faith communities, online support. There's a ton out there on the web to give you support as well. All right, your support team, your support network, whoever that is, whatever that is, talk to them. Engage them in this process. Tell them your triggers, okay? What are things that might flip you up? Tell them you need help with boundaries. Okay, so what am I talking about? Let me see if I can come up with an example. Let's go back to smoking cessation since that's what we're talking about. Maybe you know that if you go to the bar and you're around other people smoking and you smell that, you're really going to want to have a cigarette. So maybe say, hey, when we go out tonight, let's go somewhere else. And just help engage them in helping you have some boundaries for your goals. Okay, give them permission to be a little tough. All right, we call it tough love. Come down on you, maybe have some consequences if they need, get you a little kick in the booty if you need it, but say, hey, I need you to step in when I want to give up or make excuses. I need you to come alongside me and help me be strong and hold me accountable, okay? Talk more about accountability too, because that's very important. And I do want to say that most people that fail at a goal didn't have enough support. If we really analyze the situation, they may think they have support and say they have support, but if we really look at what that support is and how often they've engaged them, it's usually lacking, okay? One more example from smoking cessation. Approximately, there's a study that was done, approximately 2/3 of patients who smoke say that they want to quit. And over half of those who smoke report that they tried to quit in the past year. However, less than 1/3 of adults who tried to quit actually seek help. And even fewer use the most effective treatments. Okay, so there's a lot of areas out there where we can get more support, and it really does help. Let's move to the next one. This is big, guys. I spend a lot of time talking to my patients about this. we need to get accountability. So identify your accountability person, or maybe it's a few people, or maybe it's your group, your support group, okay? But identify them. Literally think about who it is, name it, say it's who it's going to be. And then think about how you're going to communicate with them, right? And there's tons of ways you can do it. It can be more formal, like emails if you're checking in with a clinician or a professional, texting, messaging friends, family members, phone calls, Zoom, FaceTime, all that stuff is really good because you feel like you're meeting, but you don't have to actually go. Those are all great ways that you can pursue accountability. Now, this is what you need. Once you've identified them, this is what you need to tell them. Don't just say, hey, I need some accountability. Can you help me? Yeah, I'd love to. Okay, sure, great. You move on. That's not going to work. Remember, we're talking about how you're going to achieve your goal, how you're going to conquer your goal, not how you're going to fail at your goal. So how are you going to achieve and conquer your goal? Well, you're going to get an accountability person or group, and you're going to tell them. What are you going to tell them? You're going to tell them exactly what you need. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. This is what I need you to do, okay? Tell them your weaknesses. This is what I'm not good at. This is what I need help with. Tell them those triggers. Remember, we talked about triggers. Tell them your excuses. This is probably where I'm going to come up with an excuse. This is where, tell them all that stuff. Tell them what's worked for you in the past, how you've been successful, okay? But have this conversation. Okay. Then you guys need to make sure you agree to action steps if plans and goals are not met, okay? You don't want to get somebody that's like, oh, yeah, I didn't, go exercise today. Oh, man, I'm sorry. And then nothing really happens. Like, that's not helpful. People that really stick to a goal, stick to their plan and make a goal, have action steps, okay? Well, you know what? I didn't get my exercise in. Well, get your accountability partner to say, you know what? Then tomorrow morning I'm coming by, picking you up, and we're going to go walk the track together. Talk about how if you don't make your goals, what you guys can do, all right? And if some of you are thinking, man, that's a lot to ask of somebody. I don't know if I want to ask this much. I don't know if I would want, but let me remind you, especially when you're on the cancer journey, there are so many people in your life that want to help you. They may not know how, they may not know how to ask, but they want to help you. Friends, family really do want to reach out and help. So this could be an easy thing. And it doesn't have to be time consuming, right? Just to text every once in a while, hey, how are you doing on your goals? And I know your clinicians, the professionals we talked about, some of your faith community leaders, they really do care. So don't think of it as a burden. You're giving them a way to help you. And some of them may have the same goal as you and just want to jump in and do it with you too, and then you have a group together. So don't let that hold you back. Okay, check in with them regularly, text, phone call, whatever it is, and don't miss at all costs, okay? Where we see patients fall off the plan is when they stop checking in with their accountability partner or their group, right? Oh, yeah, I'm just not going to let them know. And then, yeah, another day goes by, another week goes by, and then that's where it just goes downhill. So make sure you're checking in regularly. It really, really matters. Okay, let's move on. This is a great one. Find your why. You guys know what I mean when I say your why? Okay, your why. That's your purpose, your cause, your belief, the driving force behind everything we do. Okay? I like this quote too. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how, right? So your why, your purpose is so important in life, but also when you're trying to achieve a health goal. So I put this picture up here as an example. Family may not be your why for everybody, but I am just always so amazed in my clinic, in my setting, when I talk with my patients. Many of them are, grandmas and have grandkids. And when I pose this question to them, what is your purpose? What is your why? I am just amazed how many instantly, without skipping a beat, say my grandkids. Like they know with conviction. And I just think it's so fascinating, that they could have said something for themselves, another greater cause, but that's their heart and they know it. So whether it's family for you or something else, find your why. It's really important. Okay, and if you don't know your why, here's some things to consider as you're kind of sorting through, what is my why? Why do I want to meet this goal? Think about it. How's it going to benefit your health? How's it going to benefit your finances? How's it going to benefit your relationships? How's it going to affect your mental, emotional, right? And conversely, the cost. If I don't do this, or if I don't quit this, what's the cost of my health? What's the cost of my finances? What's the cost to my relationships? What's the cost of my spirituality? I know that's a big deal to some people. So think about those as you're kind of sorting through and trying to figure out your why. You can have more than one why. That's fine too. But think about why you want to do this. All right? Another great quote. You can be anything you want to be. Do anything you set out to accomplish. If you hold to that desire with the singleness of purpose, okay? Know your purpose, know your why. It's very powerful. Speaking of power, the next tip I want to talk to you about is find your mantra, okay? Your mantra. Words are very, very powerful and very meaningful. What is a mantra? If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, a mantra, it's a word or a phrase that you repeat either out loud verbally or in your mind to focus your thoughts and focus your energy. You can say it another way, a word or phrase designed to help you change your thinking in that present moment. Okay, a mantra is kind of used when your mind is drifted off course and you want to steer it back in the right direction, okay? When you find yourself wanting to get off your goal or in a hard place, a hard time, pushing through a hard exercise, anything, you say this mantra, craving your cigarette, wanting to you know, go eat that box of donuts, right? These are words that you say in your mind or you say out loud to help you. It can be used to overcome an obstacle that stands in your way or deal with a difficult situation. Now, when you're coming up with your mantra, and I'm going to give you some examples too. I'm going to give you some examples of mantras, but if you want to, let's just talk about what goes into a mantra real fast, because the more you can make it your own, the more personal you can make it, the more powerful it is. So some guidelines for making your own mantra. Make it personal, specific to you and your situation. Make it short, right? Because we're going to need to repeat it. We're going to have to say it. We don't want it to be super long. So make it short. Make it specific, okay? Make it positive, something that's going to build you up, not tear you down. And you can have more than one, by the way. Sometimes if you have different circumstances, different goals, you may want a couple different ones or a few, whatever. But you at least need one. So let's talk about some of those examples. I love these. Just listen to how powerful they are when we say them. I act today to improve my life tomorrow. I have the courage to do what is necessary to move forward. I can do this. I will do this. I am braver than I think. I take my vision and I turn it into reality. I create the life I wish to have. I like some of these at the bottom. I make my health and well-being a priority. I honor my mind and my body with what I choose to consume. I let go of things that no longer bring me joy. I relax my body. I relax my mind. Okay, those are just great mantras to have. And guys, write them down, post them. The same thing as your goal statement, the same thing as your plan. Write them, post them, put them everywhere. Say them over and over again. There is so much power in what we say. There is so much power in our words. Okay, we have a couple more to chat about here. This one is also so powerful. Forming a habit. Those that achieve their goals have really found a way to incorporate it as a part of their life, a routine part of their life, or a habit. Let's look at what this, by the way, I mentioned this author. There's a fabulous book out there, if you haven't read it already, called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And if you want to know more about this, I would encourage you to read that book and learn how you can develop habit and really just the power of habits. So let's see what he says. All big things come from small beginnings. The seed of every habit is a single tiny decision. But as that decision is repeated, a habit sprouts and grows stronger. Roots entrench themselves and branches grow. We know this part. The task of breaking a bad habit is like uprooting a powerful oak within us. And the task of building a good habit is like cultivating a delicate flower one day at a time. Habits are extremely powerful. See, it's the small but consistent steps, the small, consistent steps that become habits that ultimately lead to results. And sometimes results that were unimaginable at the start, right? We can achieve even bigger and more than we thought. Also, I like to point out, can you get me back one more? I also like to point out small successes, okay? Little daily, little tiny things. Flossing your teeth every day, right? Small little things. It's those small successes, those small triumphs that evoke a sense of control. Okay, we feel good about ourselves. We feel a little more in control. And guys, I know that's such a big part of the cancer journey. We hear this every day, all day. We experience this, a diagnosis of cancer, the treatment of cancer seems like your life's out of control. And that's very hard to deal with. We say often, control what you can and then be at peace with the rest. Well, here's an area you can control, okay, as you're pursuing these health goals. Tiny little baby steps that you can do every day not only help build a habit for success, but also give you that sense of control, give you that sense of accomplishment. Very powerful. Okay, so how do you create habits? Just briefly going to go over this. Like I said, there's a great book you can read. Creating good habits, got to make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, okay? And if you're trying to break a bad habit, make it visible, unattractive, make it difficult to do, and make it unsatisfying, all right? Habits are a big deal. So your habit, whatever the habit is, whatever tiny baby step that is in the plan to achieve your health goal, figure it out and do it. Do it every day, like every day, because that's how it becomes a habit, right? Don't miss a day. And I'm talking about little baby steps, guys. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, like every day I can't do that. Well, if they're tiny little baby steps, once you do them, they're easy. And then they just get built into the routine of your life. I mentioned flossing or brushing your teeth, right? Like once you do it every day, it just becomes part of your life and you don't think about it anymore and it's easy. So that's what I'm talking about. Those little steps, don't miss them. Now, if you do, just make sure you get right back on it the next day, okay? Don't wallow, oh, I missed it. Well, oh, I missed another day, because that's where we see patients fall off the track, off the plan, and sometimes it's really hard to get back on them, okay? So consistency, developing your habit, don't miss at all costs. If you do, just get right back up and do it tomorrow. All right, my favorite, celebrate your goals, okay? And I'm not just talking about at the end when you achieve the big goal that you had up there for months, okay? Celebrate. Celebrate little tiny baby steps along the way, developing those habits, losing the first 5 pounds, going down from 10 cigarettes a day to 5 cigarettes a day. Celebrate early along on your course and celebrate often, okay? You have to reward yourself. You have to enjoy the process and give yourself some positive feedback and celebration. This is huge. I think a lot of us fall short of celebrating as much as we need to. Now, in moderation, don't celebrate losing, your first 5 pounds with going and eating a whole pizza by yourself and, 2 gallons of ice cream. That may not be the smartest thing to do. That may trigger you back into a relapse, but, find ways that are healthy and happy to celebrate. And sure, if you want to celebrate with a cup of ice cream, go for it, as long as it doesn't derail you from your plan. Celebration's a big deal. Okay, we can't leave this discussion with talking about pitfalls. Let's talk about areas where patients kind of go off track, all right? So not starting. Well, that's clear. You can't achieve a goal if you haven't even started it, right? But some of you even sitting there right now may be thinking, yeah, I really want to do this. I just can't get myself going. And that's definitely a pitfall. So dive into the plan, get your support, get yourself moving. Some people go out too fast or go out too hard and they burn out. Maybe they're expecting too much too soon. Progress can be very, very, very slow at first, but that doesn't mean there's not progress. Stick with it, okay? Quitting too early, isolating, doing it by yourself, okay? Not engaging support, not writing out the plan and posting it, not getting accountability. That's a big one. Maybe we've heard the excuse, no one else is doing it. Well, no one else is getting the goal that you want to achieve either. So let's not have that thought in our head. Not establishing a habit. We talked in great depth about that. If it's not a habit, it's going to be hard to stick with it. Lack of desire could be an issue. So remember your why. Letting feelings or negative thoughts affect you. You got to be mentally tough when you're going after a goal, okay? I mean, they're just feelings, and I say that, and they may be very valid, very legitimate feelings, but they're just feelings. We can have some control over feelings. We can learn how to cope with feelings, okay? So don't let negative feelings affect you from continuing to move forward. So life changes, events, those can throw you off track. Having the wrong plan, a lot of people fail because they don't have a good plan, so you need to get some help with that sometimes. Not being flexible, not being able to roll with the punches and have a plan B and get back up again. Here's some excuses we hear often. I've tried everything, okay? I've tried everything. Let's go back to smoking cessation. I don't know why I'm using that one so much today. It's just one people struggle with a lot. Smoking cessation. So listen to this. Many patients who have failed to quit state that they've tried everything, but this is what studies show us. However, often they're not actually aware of the full set of available smoking cessation tools, and in fact may not have engaged in any formal smoking cessation counseling program at all, and may not have used effective medications adequately. So before you say, I've tried everything, you probably haven't, okay? All right, another one, it costs too much. Totally legitimate, I get it, I'm with you, inflation, all the things, right? So valid, very valid. But still, we can overcome that. We can find other ways. We can get our support, our experts, our helpers to help us find ways around that. Let's talk about smoking one more time. Some patients are concerned about the cost of treatments. You may not have known this. Patients in the United States, insurance plans are required to cover tobacco cessation interventions, including behavioral counseling, medications approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. So there may be things out there that you don't know about. So that's where you engage your support, engage your accountability, engage your team, engage your clinical team, okay? All right, and then the big one, I don't have enough time. Listen, if you're one of those people that says, oh, I have plenty of time, then come talk to me because you can help me with my list of to-do stuff, right? It seems like everybody just doesn't have enough time. You know, Melissa, I want to do some of these goals you've mentioned. I've wanted to lose weight. I've wanted to eat better, have better nutrition. I just don't have the time. And that's fair, and that's legitimate, and I understand. But if you really do want to achieve a goal, if you really do want to conquer a goal you have, you got to find ways around that. So let's use an example. Let's go back to exercise because a lot of patients come to me. They really struggle with consistent physical activity, consistent exercise. So I'm just going to use that one as an example. And let's talk about this. I don't have enough time, okay? So I don't have enough time. I have competing work obligations, family obligations. I work full time. I just don't have time for this. So try to incorporate some physical activity at work, okay? Park far away. Use standing or walking desk if you can. Set an alarm to leave your desk regularly. Replace your emails and your phone calls with an in-person visit. Get up and walk down the hall, right? You can have standing meetings, walking meetings instead of sitting down. Ways you can incorporate physical activity a little bit more. Exercise at home. It doesn't have to be a super fancy gym. Some of you have treadmills and stationary bikes, and that's great. The weather's bad, or you can't, make it to the gym on the way home from work. You can do it at home. That's great. It doesn't have to be all the fancy bells and whistles. You can do things from your chair or on the floor that are easy as well. We have a lot of exercise programs with our physical therapists that can help you achieve that, or online programs as well. Exercise on weekends. So this is interesting. If you simply cannot exercise during the week, which I challenge you, I think you probably can a little bit here and there, but if you can't, do it on the weekends. Maybe you don't work on the weekends, so do it on the weekends. It's been shown that taking a 75-minute walk on Saturday and on Sunday appears to provide similar health benefits to doing the same total amount of walking during the week, okay? So 2 big chunks on the weekend has similar effects to littler chunks throughout the week. I personally don't recommend that with my patients because I want to see you build a habit, right? It's the habits that stick. But if you really can't, there's that option. However, it is important to remember you got to build up to that, okay? Don't just go out tomorrow and try to do a 75-minute walk on Saturday. Consider where you are in your journey, in your treatment, in your healing, in your recovery, and take small steps. But I just wanted to point out that there can be some benefits there as well. Okay, let's keep going. Increase workout intensity. What do I mean by that? Well, it's kind of the idea, if you work harder, you can work less. Okay, what do I mean by that? You can get the same benefit in half the time by performing vigorous as opposed to moderate intensity exercise. For example, if you jog for 25 minutes, 3 days each week, you reap benefits comparable to those gained from walking for 30 minutes, 5 days each week, okay? So just want to throw it in there to think outside the box if you're really hitting some barriers and some hurdles. This is important. The last one I want to point out, interject small bursts of activity throughout your day. Okay, we've seen people that if they just stand up every two minutes per hour, walk around, move around, maybe, you know, stretch a little bit, that can equal or have similar, I should say, benefits to if you condense 30 minutes at one time during the day. So think outside the box, think what works for you. Don't give in to excuses and those common pitfalls. All right, I want to wrap up so we can get some time for some questions today. So let's just summarize. To achieve a healthcare goal, to be successful at a healthcare goal you have, no matter how little or big it is, no matter where you are on your journey, you need to define your goal. Get a plan, get support, get accountability. Find your why, find your mantra. I can do this, I will do this. Form a habit so it's built into your daily life. And finally, make sure you're celebrating. Oops, can you go back one? There's one quote I wanted to share. Sorry. There's a great quote, and I want you all to hear this. Someday, you're going to look back at all the progress you have made and be glad you didn't give up. We know you can do it. We know you can do it and not give up. Reach out for your help. Ask us, ask your team, and we can get you there. Okay? All right, so this can, but there's a references, by the way, from the presentation.